I believe it's important to show up to see you at the pole because I believe in the power of prayer. And I believe that whenever two or more are gathered, God is there in their midst. And I just think it's so important that we show through our actions and our words that we're here to serve God's purpose, and that we're taking away from our time in the morning of getting ready, of getting maybe 15 minutes of extra sleep. And so I just believe that it's so important to show up because prayer is also such a foundation that goes into your life with Christ. And so
welcome to Ythology Live and another youth leadership podcast. Listen, if we do not take the freedom to pray, the freedom to pray may be taken from us. Today, one of the largest prayer meetings in the history of the world took place. And I'm not being demonstrative or sensational about that statement. The prayer meeting is called See You at the Pole. It is the 32nd annual prayer meeting that happens every fall around our middle school and high school campuses in America. Last year, there were about 4 million students who participated. The anticipation is that this year, that number will be even higher. As the reports come in, I want to share with you 2 of the easiest ways to grow your youth ministry. That's right, listen, 0 expense, but major return on your investment. As a matter of fact, if you will just put these 2 things into place, I truly believe money back guarantee that you can grow your youth ministry. The first way to grow your youth ministry will grow your youth ministry spiritually. How many of us want to grow our youth ministry spiritually? Of course, I'm talking about the spiritual disciplines. But let's focus on this podcast on the National See You at the Pole Day. Let's focus on prayer. Today was National See You at the Pole event where millions of students prayed around their school flagpoles this morning, all over America. What is the impact of that kind of intercession and that kind of prayer? Well, here are 2 easy ways that you can see your youth ministry take advantage of that kind of growth. Like, if there's one sure way to grow that youth ministry spiritually, it is through private and public prayer. And See You at the Pole offers that opportunity. Of course, Christ calls us to intimacy and prayer when no one is watching, right? In the secret place. But there are also important public times of prayer that become powerful in many ways. Every year that I attend See You at the Pole, I love to watch students and staff or faculty who are not a part of See You at the Pole walk by the flagpole with other students and other staff and other faculty or community leaders praying around the flagpole. The responses are always pretty entertaining. I mean, some people will stop and stare. Some people will walk over, maybe get a little closer and listen. Some people will come and join the group. Maybe they didn't know that See You at the Pole was going on. Some people interrupt and mock, but everyone has taken notice. You see, praying publicly is not just an impact upon the witnesses who walk by and see our students praying around the flagpole. Praying publicly is an enormous impact on those who are praying also. It shows our students that they are not alone. It shows them that there are other people who value prayer, and it brings a great confidence and courage into their lives as they practice their faith publicly. So much of youth ministry is done in the 4 walls of the church, and so See You at the Pole gets our students into the context of their friends. I mean, after all, Jesus Christ did not die on the cross publicly for me to serve him privately. I believe every public use of our faith grows us stronger spiritually. Does that make sense? Spiritually, we grow when we put our faith into action. There will be millions of students who walk through the halls of high schools today, sit in classrooms today, eat in cafeterias today, who will play on sports teams and be in practice or maybe a game or a competition, who will be asked why they were praying around the flagpole. What a faith builder, right? When somebody says something like that to us, it brings us into accountability with our faith. Listen, the other important part of public prayer is the impact that it has on society. Prayer is supernatural, and it changes not just the person that's praying, but it changes things. I can't imagine the kind of things that were aborted today because of the spiritual prayers of our students. Bullying, racism, addictions, violence. Prayer does not only change us, it changes everything. Listen, let me give you a second surefire way to grow your youth ministry, all right? And that is through campus access. Again, another part of See You at the Pole. Not just the prayer and the spiritual discipline, but what I call missiology, the missiology of youth ministry, which really is, why am I doing this? It is doing youth ministry in the context of teenagers. You would think this goes without saying, right? However, very few youth ministries have a presence on the school campus. I mean that. There's not a lot of data on it, but in my travels, in a room full of youth leaders, I rarely see a third of the room that is participating regularly on the school campus. They may be participating in, visitation, sub-teaching, coaching, counseling, or simply attending extracurricular events, all kinds of different ways, but it really is easy to get a footprint on campus, but it's not happening. Think about it as you're watching this video. How many youth pastor friends or youth leaders do you know? How many youth ministries are on campus in your area? I believe one of the fastest ways to grow your youth ministry numerically is to be in the setting of teenagers. Campus access gives us a direct avenue from the campus back to the church, back to the youth ministry. But we must build that road intentionally. How do you do that? Listen, a couple of weeks ago, we gave you 25 ways to get on campus, 25 ways to access the campus. So please check out that podcast. I'm not going to go over those today, but let me give you one more practical way to be on the campus and to build intentional relationships back to the youth ministry. It's See You at the Pole. But instead of See You at the Pole once a year, what about See You at the Pole every month? I want to challenge every youth ministry that participates in See You at the Pole to continue the momentum and schedule See You at the Pole monthly. Why not schedule a monthly pole prayer meeting the rest of the school year? This would be a great way to activate the faith of our students right now and for them to live their faith publicly. Listen, this whole event was started by a middle school girl 32 years ago in Dallas, Texas. What about reforming that and doing that on a monthly basis? Look at the impact that it could have, not to mention the incredible spiritual impact of the prayers that are being prayed, not just the impact on our teenagers, but on their world. Listen, let me close by saying this. Please check out the footage and the photos that accompany this podcast today. You're going to see several interviews with students and photos from all over America. I spoke with youth pastors today in about 7 or 8 different states, and they sent me pictures, and so I want to put these up here and let you see really what's going on out there. Because hear me, if the church is in the hands of the young people that I see across America, the church is in great hands. God bless you. Thank you for listening to us again. And check us out. You can read it on our website, ythology.com. You can watch this on the YouTube channel, or you can listen to this on the iTunes podcast.
Hi, I'm Jackson from Dallas, Texas. And for what I'm praying for at See You at the Pole is wisdom in our school, whether it be teachers, just faculty in general, students. I also am praying for unity in our school as we start our second year as this new school, Trinity Leadership. I'm just praying for healing in our nation as well, like in our schools in general, like all the things that have been happening, like the school shootings, all of that, that we just come together, unite, like there's no need for all this hate, that we just love. I pray that God will cover our school with a blanket of love this year.
Well, I'm Jeriah Johnson from Dallas, Texas, and I think it's important for students to go to see you at the pole, to pray for your schools, to pray for your family, to pray for your community, to bring that supernatural power of God down.
Hi, I'm Sarah Grace from Dallas, Texas, and see you at the pole is important just because it brings out other Christian students to pray. It helps me to realize that I'm not the only Christian student at my school, and it just gives me a sense of community.
That I'm praying for at See You at the Pole is I'm praying for more unity, because a lot of people use diversity as an excuse for division, whenever that's never what it was intended to be, and that's not what God intended that to be. So we're here to maybe break off all stereotypes that people have put on what diversity actually means, and also for all of my unsaved friends, because at the end of the day, if I only save one, if I save 10, if I save none at all, God is just asking me to serve Him and to do my best, and that's what I'm here to do. And so, yeah.